What up, G?
What's up, my friend? How are you? How you
Bro,
be?
I'm tired, bro. Oh, yeah, I'm tired. How
What are
you
you
be?
tired? What are you tired of?
Bro, I'm tired of the bullshit. That's what I'm tired of.
Tired of this fucking Matrix, whatever this is.
Yeah, whoever created this simulation, like, I got a lot of words for you.
Is that our higher self?
Maybe.
The one consciousness.
Oh, man.
Oh
No,
my God,
when
that makes me recommend Pluribus. If anybody hasn't seen that show yet, please watch it. Pluribus.
I am in this boat, what is this show?
Dude, you just need to watch it.
Okay. Says everybody regarding any TV show ever. Dude, you just need to watch it. Like with those,
Yes.
yeah, with the hand motions and everything. Like I am a weirdo. I don't watch TV. I have a TV. I don't watch it. I don't have any subscriptions. So whenever anybody is like, dude, do you watch? No, I do not. What is the show? Tell me.
Listen, you can use my login. Go watch it.
Okay. All right, I'm on it. I
Yeah.
think I finally watched Game of Thrones like years after
Oh
it was
yeah.
complete. And then I was like, the first, I don't know, two seasons, all it was boobs and blood. Like
Boobs and
seriously.
blood.
There was a lot of boobs and there were a lot of blood. Like, okay, thank you for sensationalizing this storyline to grab in all
Right.
those,
Right.
you know, distorted viewers. And then, okay, great. And then, like, yeah, then the storyline picked up, and then I was like, oh, okay, like, I get why everybody's all about the show. And
Yeah.
then the ending was so rushed that I was left like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? So with regarding TV, I'm always like tentatively like, can you just like tell me like a little bit? No, I just gotta watch it. Okay, great. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I feel like you just gotta watch it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I'm like that with the OA.
Oh, that's a good one.
See?
That's my
Yes.
that's one of my favorites for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like for that show to come back. I think it was
Yeah.
prematurely canceled.
I agree. Yeah,
Hmm
it needs to continue.
Yeah, I
Shout
wish it
out
was happening.
OA.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout outs. Do we have any shout outs?
Shout out to Winston for waking me up so
Yeah,
often.
Winston.
If if you can hear him snoring, he doesn't have trouble sleeping at all.
No, he's good at it. Like he's expert at it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Winston. Shout out my cat Abby. Love her. She's
Yeah,
been, I told you obviously earlier, but such a great companion.
that's good.
Yeah. Also, shout out to community
Hmm.
ship.
hmm
What I want to shout out. That's
hmm
been so, I mean, it's always been such an important thing. But just being grateful for, I had two phone calls today with good friends, and now I'm talking to my bestie.
hmm
So it's just, yeah, it's really nourishing, and I love it. I appreciate
hmm
it.
Yeah, I had brunch with a very, very dear close friend this morning, and it feels like it's been forever since I've seen her. Just our schedules are so obnoxious and full, both of
Yeah.
us. And so it was so lovely. And she said something very dear to me. She was like, I don't want you to ever worry about, fill in the blank with me.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna name it, but just hearing that, it's like, oh, you're like you're like me. You're like extending your hand the way that I do. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. Thank you for verbalizing it. Like it just like
Mm.
allowed me to soften of like, oh,
Mm.
thank you for that. Thank you. Just thank you. Shout out
Great.
to my friend. Yeah.
Love that. Good stuff.
hmm
Yeah, verbalizing that is super helpful for sure.
hmm Yeah.
Awesome. Um, let's see. Astrologically, we can get into that a little bit.
There's a lot of things happening. Help me understand what the planets are doing because there's craziness happening down here.
Yeah, that's legit. I mean, for a bit, luckily it's shifted, but for a bit, there was like 6 planets in Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
And so that created a lot of like emotionality and fuzziness and I mean Pisces is like the final zodiac sign, so it encompasses all of the signs,
Yeah.
right? And so it can feel very uh like overcrowded energetically,
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sums that up. That's interesting.
right?
Yeah.
So it being in, I mean, 6 planets. Luckily, that's shifted. It's moved. There's been a few that have moved more into Aries,
Mm-hmm.
which is starting to like bring more levity, and have people feel more like movement, like actual physical movement, and then
Mm-hmm.
the energy being able to move a little bit more too
Mm.
towards like action, because Aries is all about action, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been shifting, and then we briefly touched on Jupiter, right? Like Jupiter moving into or getting becoming direct because it has been in retrograde. And so that hits March 10th. So that's coming up, and that's good um because right now it's in Cancer. So there's this like it being in retrograde isn't a bad thing. Retrograde's not a bad thing. It's just like reassessing, looking at like slowing things down related to expansion and family. And then
Mm-hmm.
also like that touches like Cancer touches in on ancestry,
Yeah.
and the feminine. So there's a lot of and then you have like so you have retrograde Jupiter in Cancer and then retrograde Pisces in Mercury. So that's a lot of water. Just slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody probably feels, especially dependent on how sensitive you are energetically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but even those who aren't as sensitive will still feel it. It's just going to feel different. It's like a lot of emotionality coming to the surface, plus revisiting themes that maybe need to be completed
Mm-hmm.
or reassessed in some way. And so, yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
As we move into the astrological new year, which begins March 20th. So we're close to that, not quite there. Luckily, we're out of the eclipses.
Okay.
That was
Mhm. Yeah.
doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big abrupt endings.
for sure. For a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see as we move into Aries season what kind of action people will take, you
I
know?
know. Yeah.
Yeah. And for us, with our North Node in Aries, what that could open up for us.
Big
Yeah.
shifts.
Big shifts happening. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into our topic. What did you text me? You texted me.
Do you really know me or do you know your perception of me?
Yeah. Yes. And then I was like, dude, did you see my
I did
Instagram
not.
story? And you're like, no, but you were definitely in tune with it because it talks about relational self theory, which is so connected to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that video specifically was saying that when we lose people, whether it's like death, usually more potent as a death loss,
Yeah.
but it can feel similarly. Just by losing someone out of your life is like the electromagnetic field that you co-created, co-constructed feels empty and
Yeah.
or like spacious, and it can pull to the surface a lot of things related to loss,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
Especially like with the passing of somebody, when somebody leaves their body,
Yeah.
to me, there's so much more closure because being who I am, like I can just go directly to their spirit and like hash out whatever is feels unfinished. You
Hmm.
can, in theory, still do the same thing with somebody who's still existing within their body, like just hash out whatever it is energetically.
Right.
I mean, all of that is you're just doing the work within the self, in theory. In anyway, um, but there can be a lot left. What's the word? There's no sense of closure sometimes when a relationship just ends,
Yeah.
particularly with people who are avoidant and they're just like, peace out. I'm just going to block you and not tell you why I'm going to block you.
Yeah, like
Right? Like,
literally leave you. Yeah.
yeah, just peace out. Just like up and like leave. And you're left over here like, but what happened? Like,
Right.
are you okay? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
Can you help me understand what I did wrong? Um, or maybe what you're going, maybe you're overstimulated. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. But people that just like up and leave your life and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that is for me where I feel the most discord, the most like friction, the most
Yeah.
like, 'cause not only am I dealing with a sense of rejection, but I'm also dealing with like, okay, but like the empathetic part of me is like, what happened to you? Are you okay? Like, what
Yeah.
made you do that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What, tell me more about how that feels for you, like in those instances.
Oh, I think like a great sense of like shock.
Mm.
I think the realization, like, no, you've been rejected, and that other person doesn't even have the decency to explain or really go into it or
Right. Like
even
it's,
tell you like, hey, I'm totally just I'm gonna block you because I need space or I'm gonna silence your texts because I just can't anymore or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I can to some degree I can see why somebody would do that. Uh, but at the same time, like healthy communication really would indicate, listen, this is the decision that I'm making and this is why, and I can't move forward with you in my life, and so I have to break up with you, or I have to end our friendship, or I no longer wish to see you, for whatever reason. Like it, um, how do I say this? Like I have thoroughly blocked two people in my life, um, and those those two people, like I indicated that I was blocking them. I
Hmm.
was like I expressed the gratitude that I felt. Thank you for coming into my life. I really grew here, here, and here. It really opened my eyes here, here, and here, whatever. And moving forward, this is clearly not a good thing. I'll reach out to you if I feel it necessary in the future. But moving forward, this is we I need to do this for me. Yeah.
Yeah. What did that, like that process of communicating that, what was that like for you?
It created closure from me.
Hmm.
And gave them the heads up, like, oh, well, she at least told me that
Yeah.
this was happening, that this was a ripple effect of, the scenario or the action or my behavior or whatever. But like I I do that and I communicate in that way because I know what it's like to just be left of the wait, what? Like the full-on confusion of wait, why was I just blocked? Help me to
Right.
understand what happened.
Yeah,
Like,
it's sort of jarring, right? Because it's like, wait, depending on the relationship,
Yeah.
if it's been invested in, it's like,
Right.
oh, what? Like
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a, somebody who I thought was a very good friend,
Hmm.
dear friend, but could not handle the discomfort of an uncomfortable conversation, even if it was to provide like any sort of clarity or like, hey, Linz, you're
Yeah,
clearly in a space of like, I don't know where you are, but that was not cool. Like something. She
sure.
just up and left.
Yeah.
And that pain of that loss of that friendship literally stayed with me for like 5 years. It took
Hmm.
5 years to process for
Hmm.
me to
Yeah.
really like go within and one acknowledge like yeah like I really messed up um and
Yeah.
two, the circumstances of surrounding my mess up, like anybody with compassion would have been like, I can see that. And, just like hold space for an uncomfortable conversation, at least have decency to provide closure. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really tough when, you value that and it's just not happening because the other person isn't going to engage.
Right. Yeah. And then that goes back to the original topic of like, okay,
Mhm.
but did you really know me or are you just going
Right.
off of your perception of what you think I am? Which is
Right.
also none of my business, however you think of me. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. And at the same time, it impacts you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like, man, that's probably one of the biggest things that I've seen in any kind of relationship is like, if you don't catch the narrative that you're saying to yourself about that person, and it could be, I mean, narratives aren't made up. Like, there's valid things inside of them. And if you're being triggered, it's gonna amplify
Hmm.
things and then amplify, it tends to amplify like all or nothing or catastrophizing in some way.
Hmm.
So it's like checking your narratives is huge.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's so easy to use them as protection against being vulnerable, of like saying something to yourself and not checking with the other person, and then inadvertently creating distance and then not being vulnerable, not having the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And also like what you're saying about perception, perception of yourself versus how others are perceiving you.
Hmm.
That can be very fuzzy,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like we can see ourselves a certain way, and at the same time, we have our blind spots. So it's like it's such a it's such a vulnerable thing to be human because if you are willing to look at your blind spots, which we all do need help with that. Like
Yeah.
we can't we can't see blind spots in ourselves all the time. Like we can catch them after the fact.
Yeah, in hindsight, usually.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a self-reflective individual.
for
Right.
sure. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I even asked you last episode, are you seeing something that I'm not seeing?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's really valuable. That's a very valuable question to ask because, I mean, yeah, it's sort of easy to be like, oh, I mean, I am a self-aware person,
Hmm.
but being human means that you're not gonna always be self-aware too.
Right.
That's just like the inherent nature of being human.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's great to have, that's why I think shout out to friendships because like you can go to a friend who you trust and love and be like, "Hey, am I seeing this all? Like what are you seeing in this?" 'Cause I'm so in it that it would be helpful for me to know what you're catching.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And that can feel really vulnerable at the same time.
Right, especially if so you and I are very honest with each other.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have to like, okay, truth bomb coming at you. Can you handle it? Because if you can't,
True.
I'll just like totally okay. You let me know where you're at. Like
Yeah,
this, because this is what I'm seeing. And
right.
that may or may not resonate with you.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. If it burns when you're hearing the truth, chances are your ego is like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, like
That's a,
ouch.
yeah, that's a little bit true. Okay. Okay. Right. Like, let me take it in and like reflect and then make some different choices moving forward. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's one thing that Master Ko speaks about in pranic healing and the meditations is that he's always like, if this burns when you're getting a truth bomb, your ego is literally like burning up
Dang.
and dissolving.
The imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally peeling off and you're allowing the truth to come in and that's why it continues.
Yeah.
And if you're in a dynamic with somebody who is not used to receiving legit honesty, it's like they can become really defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Hmm. Is there something that you think of like the last time that you got feedback where you're like, "Ooh, ouch." Yeah, I'm
Um,
trying to think too myself.
well, I mean, uh just so I went to a private art school and uh, critiques were sometimes brutal. Critiques were like you're literally the everybody in each art class is or was the best in their high school.
Mm,
You know, they
yeah.
they all took extra workshops. They all took like they've been doing some of them had been doing art for years. Some of them were child prodigies. Like it
Mm,
was legit like very intense, very competitive. And so when you're putting your work up that you have spent an intimate amount of time, like minimum 6 hours of creating a piece of art. And then you put it up on the wall, and literally every student tells you what is wrong with the piece.
mm,
And then you're like, okay, yeah, I got to swallow my pride. I got to go back in and correct it and rework it. And maybe but here's the thing, I was in fine arts, and in fine arts, you have to talk about your concept along with
yeah.
showing the work. So it was like 50% concept, 50% um,
Mm,
legit skill.
mm.
And if your craftsmanship was shitty, they would tell you. If you had holes in your concept, they would tell you. Like
Wow. Yeah.
it, and these critiques were happening almost every single day.
Yeah.
So I had to learn really quickly to be like, okay, yep, yep, I see that. Yep, I had to learn
Mm,
how to be objective. So when receiving feedback of I didn't show up or I missed the ball or I dropped the ball or it's I have to use the same objectivity of like, yeah, I see that. I understand why you're frustrated. I would be frustrated with that too. Yeah, I get that. I didn't show up there. I didn't communicate that. Yeah.
mm.
It's right. Like it allows for um a little bit more openness of the tougher conversations. So when somebody accuses me of like, oh, I can't, you're not easy to open up to, I'm just like, but really, that's a reflection of you.
Hmm.
But I'm here when you're ready. I'm
Hmm.
here when you're ready to have the tough conversation.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's like it's such a nuanced thing of dependent on the dynamic. It could be that the person isn't ready. Like in that instance, it could be that the person is like maybe not so ready, but also there's something in the dynamic that's creating that too from the other
Mhm.
person. So just also like nuanced in that,
Right.
and I think that that's what can cause the that fuzziness in the dynamic to occur.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, what part is you and what part is them? And then this other
Yeah.
entity, which is like the relationship,
Yeah.
co-constructing that.
Right. Right. And I can be in the pattern of too often I'm looking from the other person's perspective and I'm seeing through their lens and their eyesight. And I'm picking apart, like, oh, okay, how can I grow moving
Sure.
further? How can I grow out of whatever is mistakes I potentially have made? Um, I am in the space in my life right now, really sitting in, this is how I feel, bro.
Yeah.
This is how I feel. Too fucking bad. Right? Like I'm gonna allow my Taurus moon and my Leo sun to like dig in my heels a little bit because
Yeah.
too fucking bad. This is how I feel, and how I feel is how I feel. Too bad. Right?
Mhm.
Because so uh, yeah, for the majority of my life, I have legit been like, no, yeah, I see from your perspective. Yeah. And then like bulldoze myself. But
Yeah.
that's not healthy either. That's not helpful.
No, it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we've had that in common too. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And I think it can get imbalanced. And then you're like, oh, I haven't really been listening to myself. This
Hmm.
isn't great. Um, so yeah, I get that. That's a growing edge for me too. And I think for most people who, you know, just really desire that connection, but also like I know for me, it's been a way to avoid feeling any kind of pain in relationships. Oh, let me just like mold myself so that I don't hurt, but I'm hurting myself by molding myself into something that I'm not, or something that I don't isn't aligned with me, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so much of that is programming for females,
Oh yeah.
is that we're taught to really, no, don't listen to your intuition. Be quiet and how dare you express anger? How dare you
Right.
allow yourself to get angry? You're too emotional. Wait, what? Um,
Mm.
yeah. And
How dare you be human, right?
oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, like if I expressed any sort of uh um frustration or
Mm.
anger, I was immediately not being a good girl.
Yeah.
I was acting bad. And I'm like, what am I not? I'm not allowed to get frustrated by this dynamic. I'm not allowed to express my anger in this
Right.
moment. And then it created such an unhealthy relationship to anger.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you start believing about anger?
Oh, that getting angry is a waste of emotion.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
um, that I'm nasty if I get frustrated. Um,
Yeah.
th-
Mm. Fuck that.
oh yeah, fuck it all. Um, there's I call rage sacred because it, for a fire sign, has the amazing transformative qualities for us,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? Like when I hit a point of motherfucker, I am not get real, right? Like I love how it shows up in my jaw first. And
Yeah.
immediately I'm like, I walk differently, like my whole energy shifts, and the power of decision is like catastrophic.
Yeah.
Because once I lean in and I fully decide on something, it totally transforms. But then I'm like, but I don't want to have to get to the point of like motherfucker, right? Like I don't want, how do I like
That's the
live that,
line.
right? Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm just like, I'm always cautious of like, okay, where am I within the scale of
Like calm to motherfucker.
Oh my God. Yeah. But here's the thing about fire signs is that our rage is like really intense really quickly and then like we're fine. Once we
Yeah,
release it, we're
yeah,
totally that's the one thing that like people misunderstand about us is we gotta let it out. We get really loud. We probably get really red.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then I'm fine. Like, but
Yes.
it's never directed from me. It's never directed at somebody. It's always like, ah, and then I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's directed at somebody for me, but that's,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, it can
Okay.
happen. I'll be like, damn it. Like, well, okay, I'll give you an example, a recent
Hmm.
example. I was talking with my mom and we got on the topic of like my childhood. And she was saying things like, oh yeah, like your feelings were always welcome. And I, oh, because I said something about like I feel like there's a lot of experiences of, I told her, I was like, you not trusting me in my decisions. Like
Mm,
that's what
yeah.
I experienced. And she's like, what? Like, I always trusted you. I thought you made great decisions. And I was like, Mom, that was my experience.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't your experience, and that's fine,
Yeah.
but it was definitely mine. And I started getting angry because she kept discount. I don't think she meant to. She kept discounting by
Yeah.
saying, well, this is how I experienced it,
Yeah.
instead of saying, oh, I see you in your experience. Like she
Yeah.
didn't include that, and that
Yeah.
fucking pissed me off.
Right.
I'm still
Right.
a little pissed about it. And I was just like, Mom, do you see that like yes, you had your experience and that's valid. And I'm talking about my experience too, and you're not even hearing me. So
Um,
yeah.
I'm really sorry. I just got an emergency text. Can we pause?
Oh, yeah. Where's